So every so often, I get a club through the post to test that when I take it out of the box, your initial reaction is just wow. And in today's video, I'm going to be testing one of those clubs, and it is the Srixon ZX Utility iron. So, I've been looking forward to testing Srixon products for a while, and to be honest, the 2 iron is such a good looking club that it's gone right to the top of my list, and that's why this is the first of a few videos where I'm going to be working through kind of drivers, irons, and giving you some feedback on product that you could be testing to go in your bag. But like I said, the utility iron is a really interesting one for me because a lot of golfers still like the performance of a long iron, but maybe don't quite get enough forgiveness. But this is what this is promising. So let's have a closer look at the head. I'm going to hit some shots on the range, on TrackMan, give you some drying numbers, and then just go out on the course and maybe hit just a handful of shots out of some different lies and just see how this performs. And if it was purely on looks, this would absolutely be in the bag for me. So super good looking from the back, really looks like a muscle back iron. Got a decent width solo, so it's going to keep that CG nice and low. So a decent top line, not the thickest, but not the thinnest I've seen in utility irons. But certainly the promise of lots and lots of forgiveness, lots of ball speed, not just out the middle, but across the face, but really is one of the best looking 2 irons I've seen. And I mean, absolutely need to hit this, see if it stacks up on feel as good as it looks. Right, so I think you'll agree from the close-up of the head, this is one gorgeous golf club. Now, I'm going to hit the shots, and I'm just going to kind of show some ball flights and give you feedback on kind of feel on these first few shots. Then we'll dive into some numbers. And for me, what I love about this is that slightly wider sole should help me get the ball up in the air a little bit. So I'll probably be looking for about 210 carry, but it'll just be interesting to see how high I hit the ball as to whether I'd actually get the kind of performance I would need from this club. So definitely behind the golf ball. I know Srixon talk about it being a more compact sized head and kind of looking a bit more like a blade. I think they're almost there. The top line's a little bit thicker, but I don't always think that's a bad thing with something like a 2 iron. Now, the 2 iron's 18 degree. They do it in 2, 3, and 4. But the strange thing is the 3's only 20 degrees and the 4's 23. So I'm not sure you'd be carrying 2, 3, and 4 because maybe those gaps are a little bit too close. But for me, you know, definitely the 2 would be something of interest. So let's hit some shots, see how it feels. Oh, that, just on that alone, I could put that in the bag. It'd be interesting to see how far that's gone. Obviously it's a great flight, tiny little draw, but that really feels super quick off the face. Now that was obviously a real ripper. It'll be interesting as I hit more to see if I do lose strike a little bit, what the performance is like. Turning over a little bit more than I was trying. But yeah, do you like the look and feel of that? So let's go one more and then let's look at some numbers. Right, so the last one there was a little bit thin, but I'm just going to run through those shots, kind of look at kind of how far the ball was going, how high it was going, and I'll just show you the strikes as I go through the shots as well. Just to show that, I mean, this should be, as 2 irons go, a very forgiving club, but let's look how it performed in a nice controlled environment. So as we work through the shots there, we can see, as a general rule, fairly solid. with the strikes, and we can see the carry distances there at the left-hand side, kind of 197 to 217. Definitely that last one just felt a little lower off the face, which it was, and that's why the carry was down. But we'll look at my averages there at 96 mile an hour club head speed, so kind of round about where I would expect to be with 2-iron, maybe a little bit quicker hopefully. Ball speed at 138 is super good. Smash factor at 1.44 I would absolutely take. Backspin at 3,200, I actually quite like that. Peak height, this is the interesting one, 64 feet peak height. So 212 carry, which I kind of said I expected around 210. Rolling out 235, so you can see there a lot of rollout and potentially something that would be tough for me to hit onto a green and stop. So if you look at the grouping, not bad at all really, everything would be very, very playable. And we can see the shots down the hole there, everything would be in the fairway, very playable, and I would take any of those all day long. Right, so the interesting thing there is on good solid strikes, I kind of saw some really good performance, like I said, carry distance what I expected. Definitely rolling out a lot, but at only 64 feet peak height, that for me would be something great off the tee, chasing down the fairway, but maybe a little bit of a struggle hitting into a green. Now I actually struck all those really well, so let's go back to me hitting a few, and I'm going to try and just use a little bit more around the club face and just see how that performance either holds up or drops off. So like I said, they were all good strikes. Let's just try and miss-hit a couple and see how close we get to that kind of 210 carry. So let's try and get one a little bit towards the toe. So that one very much out the toe. Ball speed didn't drop off hugely. But you can see that carry down at 184. Quite a big drop off really. You know, you're definitely going to miss-hit clubs like this, and don't get me wrong, you know, if it was a proper blade, we'd have seen a much, much bigger drop-off. But we could see there, as the backspin dropped off with the toe strike, that really affected that performance. And even the last one in my first batch that was a little bit thin, we kind of did see that drop-off of kind of 15, 17 yards. So let's go a couple more to finish. Again, nice and in play, but towards the toe. So again, a very playable bad one. Carry at 194 there, that wasn't bad at all, but still a bit of a drop off. But rolling out 220, I think you'd take that off the tee. And a nice strike to finish, but we can see very flat trajectory. 204 carry, 226. But yeah, in a driving range environment, I think that's pretty good. Still not convinced for me it'd replace anything in my bag. But let's go out on the course, hit a couple of tee shots, maybe a couple of shots from the fairway, semi-rough, and see how versatile, which is ultimately what you probably want from a utility iron, the Srixon ZX 2-iron is. Right, so I'm on the third tee at Heron's Reach, par 5. Driver's too much for me off this tee, so this is a great opportunity to see with 2-iron, stock swing, can I get it in play, and maybe just hit a couple of other ones, maybe a little bit of a low chaser, and just look at that overall performance to get me in the fairway. So I'm expecting to hit this fairly straight, maybe a little draw. Let's get set and go. A little pushy one. So it's going to be in the semi-rough, but it's in play. So with the second one, let's see if we can hit maybe a little bit lower, maybe a bit of a stinger down here. It's going to be down the left side, but again, felt good. And then let's go one final one, just a normal stock swing. Right, so now 10th hole, second shot into the par 5. I'm in the left semi-rough. Ball's not sat great, it's not sat awful by any means, but this is the kind of lie. I think this might get found out, but into the wind. 210 yards, so it's right on the limit for yardage as well. But let's see how the ball comes out with this club and how close, if it's not on the green, we can get it. So low, left, and that was wet. So it was a really good strike right out the middle of the club face, but you can see that lack of loft and the design of the head just never really got the ball going out of that grass. And that's where potentially the versatility just drops off a little bit with this club. So what do I think about the Srixon ZX 2 iron? I think it's undoubtedly probably the best looking and feeling 2 iron I've ever tested. And I think if I was playing more links golf, where I was looking to kind of keep the ball down and run a bit more, definitely could be in the bag. But for me, I don't think it gives me enough performance to kind of oust my 7-wood, which has been new in the bag for this year. And I think that ability that the 7-wood gives me to hit it high and soft is going to make a huge difference to my game. But if you are somebody who loves long irons and is looking to put a 2 iron in the bag, this little beauty is absolutely something you should be testing for this year. So guys, hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, like it and share it, comment below and I'll get back to as many people as I can. If you've enjoyed the video and you don't currently subscribe, I'd love you to take a second just to hit the button below, ring the notification bell, and then you'll find out whenever I drop a new video. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here soon. Stay in contact.